The text message arrived on December 15th, exactly 10 days before Christmas. Don't come home for the reunion this year. It's better for everyone. Or, Mom. I stared at my phone screen in the parking lot of the elementary school where I taught, my breath fogging in the cold Michigan air. My fingers trembled, not from the winter chill seeping through my car windows, but from the ice-cold rejection crystallizing in my chest. I read it again, and again. Each time the words felt more impossible, more cruel. For 32 years, I'd never missed a Christmas reunion. Not when I had the flu in college, not when my car broke down 3 states away, and I took a Greyhound bus for 18 hours. Not even the year after Dad died, when the house felt too empty, and Mom's eyes were perpetually red-rimmed. I'd been there, holding her hand, making his favorite pecan pie, pretending everything would eventually be okay. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. My phone buzzed again. This time it was my younger sister, Jennifer. Sorry about Mom. She says it's complicated. Maybe next year? XO complicated? I typed back immediately. What's complicated? What's going on? The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then nothing. She'd stopped typing. I called, it went straight to voicemail. I called my brother, Marcus. Voicemail, my Aunt Linda. No answer. The panic rising in my throat turned to something sharper, something that tasted like betrayal. I drove home to my small apartment in a daze, my mind spinning through every recent interaction with my family, searching for clues I'd somehow missed. The next morning, I called Mom directly. She answered on the 4th ring, her voice tight and formal. Danielle, I told you, this year isn't a good time. Mom, I don't understand. What did I do? A long pause. In the background, I could hear the familiar sounds of her kitchen, the clink of her coffee mug, the low hum of the television she always kept on for company. You didn't do anything. It's just... Jennifer's bringing Brett. You remember Brett? Brett. Jennifer's boyfriend of 6 months. A corporate lawyer with perfect teeth and a firm handshake. I'd met him once at a coffee shop. He seemed nice enough, if a little rehearsed. Okay, well, Brett's family is very traditional, conservative. Jennifer says he's going to propose over Christmas, and she wants everything to be perfect. She's worried that if you're there, it might create tension. My mouth went dry. Create tension, because I'm gay? Don't make this harder than it needs to be, Danielle. One Christmas. That's all she's asking. One Christmas where she can have her moment without any complications. Complications. There was that word again. I'm your daughter, I said, my voice cracking. I'm her sister. And we love you. You know we do. But Jennifer has been waiting for this, and Brett's parents will be there, and they're very involved in their church, and so you're choosing her happiness over me. I'm choosing peace. For one holiday. Is that really so much to ask? It was. It absolutely was. But I could hear the finality in her voice, the decision already made and wrapped up with a bow of rationalization. I hung up without saying goodbye. For 2 days, I barely functioned. I called in sick to work. I lay in bed, staring at my ceiling, replaying every Christmas memory. Mom teaching me to make her mother's sugar cookies. Dad letting me stay up late on Christmas Eve to watch old movies. The year Marcus and I built a blanket fort in the living room and slept under the Christmas tree. Jennifer, 7 years old, crawling into my bed during a thunderstorm on Christmas night, whispering, "You make me feel safe." Now Jennifer wanted me erased, hidden, deleted from the family portrait so her perfect proposal wouldn't be tainted by her queer sister's presence. And my mother had agreed. On the 3rd day, something shifted. The grief calcified into something harder, something purposeful. I'd spent my entire life being the good daughter, the responsible one, the teacher who volunteered for every committee, who stayed late to tutor struggling students, who never caused waves. I'd come out quietly, respectfully, always mindful of making my family comfortable with my truth. When Mom struggled with it, I'd given her time. When Marcus made awkward jokes, I'd laughed along. When Jennifer introduced me to her friends as her roommate during college, I'd let it slide. I'd made myself smaller and smaller, trying to fit into the shape they needed me to be. And still, it wasn't enough. I opened my laptop and began to research. Not revenge in the explosive, melodramatic sense. I wasn't going to crash the reunion or expose family secrets. No, I needed something more surgical, something that would make them understand exactly what they'd done. Jennifer's Instagram was public, curated to perfection. Photos of her and Brett at wine tastings, charity galas, weekend getaways to picturesque bed and breakfasts. In every caption, she performed the role of the perfect girlfriend, the ideal future wife. And there, in her bio, a link to their wedding registry. Wait, wedding registry? Before the proposal? I clicked through. They'd created it 3 months ago. The proposal was theater, a performance for Brett's traditional parents. Jennifer already had the ring picked out, the venue selected, the date reserved for next October. I took screenshots, lots of them. Then I went deeper. Facebook posts from Jennifer's friends, congratulating her on the upcoming engagement from months ago. A comment from Brett's sister. Can't wait for the fake surprise on Christmas. Mom's going to cry so much LOL. My sister hadn't just asked me to skip Christmas for her genuine moment. She'd asked me to disappear for a staged production, a lie designed to manipulate Brett's family into thinking they were witnessing spontaneous love instead of calculated planning. And she deemed me too inconvenient for, even, that charade. I made a decision then, not out of spite, though I won't pretend spite wasn't part of it, but out of something more fundamental. I was done being erased. I spent the next week preparing. I reached out to my chosen family, my girlfriend Rachel, my best friend from college, the community I'd built outside the suffocating confines of familial obligation. I made plans for Christmas, a dinner party at Rachel's parents' house, people who'd welcomed me without caveat or condition. And I created a Facebook event, public, visible, Danielle's first annual Complicated Christmas, a celebration for everyone who's ever been too complicated for their family's comfort. December 25th, 4 p.m. Bring yourself, bring a dish, bring your truth. All are welcome. I shared it everywhere, tagged my extended family members who'd always been kind to me, posted it in LGBTQ+ community groups, sent the link to 3 local news outlets that covered human interest stories. Then I waited. The responses came quickly. Cousins I barely knew, commenting with heart emojis. Friends from high school saying they'd drive hours to attend. Strangers sharing their own stories of family rejection, of Christmases spent alone, of the peculiar pain of being loved but. Within 48 hours, 60 people had RSVP'd yes. And then my phone started ringing. Mom called first. "What do you think you're doing? Take that down right now." "I'm celebrating Christmas," I said calmly. "You told me not to come to your reunion, so I'm having my own." "You're embarrassing the family." "I'm existing. If that's embarrassing to you, that's your problem, not mine." Jennifer texted, frantic. "You're ruining everything. Brett's parents are asking questions. Please delete that event." I didn't respond. Marcus called, his voice a mix of frustration and something that might have been admiration. "Jesus, Danny, you really went nuclear, huh? Did you know about Jennifer's registry? About the fake proposal?" A pause. "Yeah, She told me last month. Look, I thought it was weird too, but it's her relationship. And it's my life. I'm not a prop to be moved around for her convenience. Fair, he said quietly. That's fair. The week before Christmas, the story went viral. Not massively. I wasn't trending on Twitter or anything, but local news picked it up. Teacher creates alternative Christmas for those rejected by family. The interview I gave was careful, measured. I didn't attack my family by name. I simply told the truth. That I'd been asked not to attend my family reunion because my identity might make others uncomfortable, and that instead of spending Christmas alone, I was creating space for others who'd experienced similar rejection. The community response was overwhelming. Donations poured in: food, decorations, gift cards. Rachel's parents, bless them, opened their large home without hesitation. Other volunteers offered to help cook, organize, host. My phone exploded with messages from family members, some supportive, many angry, a few carefully neutral, trying to play both sides. My mother's sister, Aunt Carol, called on December 23rd. "Your mother is beside herself," she said. "Jennifer's been crying for days. Brett's parents are questioning everything." "Good," I said. "They should question a relationship built on performance and the erasure of inconvenient family members." "You're being selfish." "I'm being honest. There's a difference." "You could have handled this privately." "I tried private. Private got me uninvited from Christmas. Private got me labeled as complicated. Private required me to disappear, so I chose public instead." Christmas Eve arrived. I spent it wrapping small gifts for the attendees of my event. Nothing expensive, just thoughtful tokens. Books on resilience, handwritten notes, rainbow ornaments. At midnight, Jennifer called. I almost didn't answer. "I'm sorry," she said immediately, her voice thick with tears. "Danny, I'm so sorry. I've been such a coward." I waited. Brett's parents are awful. They're judgmental and narrow-minded, and I've been trying so hard to win their approval that I forgot. I forgot who I was, who we were. When we were kids, you were my hero. You were brave and funny, and you never cared what anyone thought. And then I grew up and got scared, and I decided that fitting in mattered more than you, more than us. Jennifer. I called off the engagement. Well, the fake proposal, the whole thing. I told Brett that if his parents can't accept my sister, then they can't accept me. And if he can't stand up to them, then I can't marry him. I sat down heavily on my couch. What did he say? He said I was overreacting, that it was just one Christmas, that you'd understand. She laughed bitterly. So I told him we're done. I don't want to marry someone who thinks love is conditional, someone who thinks family is negotiable. Jen, I never wanted to ruin your relationship. You didn't ruin it. You exposed it. There's a difference. We talked for an hour. She apologized a dozen more times. I cried. She cried. It didn't fix everything. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild, but it was a start. "Can I come to your Christmas?" she asked finally. "I know I don't deserve it, but yes," I said. "Of course, yes." Christmas Day arrived bright and cold. Rachel's parents' home filled with 73 people. Not all of them were LGBTQ+. Some were elderly folks whose own children had stopped calling. Some were immigrants whose families were overseas. Some were simply lonely, disconnected, searching for belonging. We ate, oh God, did we eat! A potluck feast that spanned 3 tables. Tamales and lasagna, and curry and cornbread, and 6 different types of pie. We sang carols badly and joyfully. We exchanged small gifts and big hugs. We told our stories. Jennifer arrived at 6, nervous and red-eyed. The room went quiet when I introduced her as my sister. But then, Rachel's mom, bless her enormous heart, pulled Jennifer into a hug and said, "Any sister of Danny's is family here." And the warmth returned. At 8, there was a knock at the door. My mother stood on the porch, holding a casserole dish. She looked smaller somehow, diminished. Behind her, Marcus held 2 grocery bags of dinner rolls. "I don't expect you to forgive me," Mom said, "but I couldn't spend Christmas without you. I tried. I sat in that big house with the tree you helped me decorate last year and the stockings with all your names, and I realized," her voice broke, "I realized that I'd become the kind of mother who protects comfort over love, who chooses ease over her own child. And I can't be that person. I won't be." I looked at her, really looked, saw the grief etched in the lines around her eyes, the regret in the set of her shoulders. "It's going to take time," I said. "You hurt me, deeply." "I know. And I need you to understand that my life, my identity, my love, none of it is complicated. It's not a problem to be managed or hidden. It's who I am, and I need you to be proud of that, not just tolerant of it." "I am proud," she whispered. "I'm so proud of you, of your courage, of this." She gestured at the crowded, noisy, beautiful chaos of the celebration behind me. "You built something extraordinary out of pain. You created family where there was rejection. That's not complicated, sweetheart. That's miraculous." I let her in, let them both in, and as they joined the celebration, finding seats at the overcrowded tables, accepting plates of food from strangers who welcomed them without judgment, I felt something shift. Revenge, I'd learned, wasn't about destruction. It was about refusing to be destroyed. It was about taking the narrative they'd tried to erase you from and writing a better story instead. One where you weren't the footnote or the complication, but the author of your own life. Later that night, after most guests had left and the cleanup was winding down, Mom found me in the kitchen. "Your father would have been here," she said quietly. "From the beginning. He would have never asked you to hide." "I know. I forgot that. Forgot how he loved without condition. How he used to say that family isn't about blood, it's about showing up." She wiped her eyes. "I forgot to show up for you, but I'm here now, and I'll be here, however long it takes to earn your trust back." I hugged her then, this imperfect woman who'd failed me and was trying finally to do better. Forgiveness wasn't a light switch. It was a process, slow and difficult. But standing in that kitchen, surrounded by the remnants of a celebration born from rejection, I understood something fundamental. I didn't need my family's approval to be whole. I didn't need their acceptance to be worthy. But having it, earned through honesty and pain and the hard work of change, that was worth something too. Jennifer stayed over that night. We lay in Rachel's guest room like we used to as kids, talking in the dark. "I'm proud of you," she said, "for not backing down, for making me face what I'd become. I'm proud of you too, for choosing differently. Do you think we can fix this, our family?" I think we can try, and I think trying, honestly and without conditions, is enough. The story didn't end there, of course. Stories like this never truly end. They evolve. Mom started attending PFLAG meetings. Marcus began calling out homophobic jokes at his office. Jennifer volunteered at a youth LGBTQ+ center. They showed up imperfectly but consistently. And I kept hosting my complicated Christmas every year. It grew larger, more diverse, a tradition of radical welcome. Because revenge, I discovered, wasn't about making them suffer. It was about refusing to let their rejection define me. It was about building something so beautiful, so full of authentic love and messy, genuine connection, that the emptiness of conditional acceptance became impossible to ignore. It was about proving that the so-called complication was actually the greatest gift: the courage to live truthfully, love openly, and create family not through obligation, but through choice. And every Christmas, when I looked around at the faces gathered in celebration, each one carrying their own story of rejection and resilience, I understood the deepest truth. I hadn't been rejected from my family's reunion. I'd been liberated to create something far more meaningful.